Okay, so in this video we've got 2 minus 3x to the power of 6, and using the binomial formula we're going to expand this out to find the first three terms, and then later we're going to find this to the first three terms. So first of all, let's start up with the binomial formula. So we've got a plus b to the power of n. So working with this, we've got a equals 2, b equals minus 3x, and n equals 6. Okay, so therefore we start off, we have n is 6, so we use 6 choose 0, a to the power of 6, b to the power of 0. That's these terms here. And then we add that, 6 choose 1, a to the power of 5, b to the power of 1. So all these terms are going to decrease or increase by 1. So the 6 will remain constant, a to the power of 6, a to the power of 5, so that's coming down by 1. The b to the 0, b to the 1, that's going to increase by 1. So our next term will be 6 choose 2, a to the 4, b squared, and so on and so on. And that'll go all the way down till you get a to the 0. Okay, right, first of all, 6 choose 1, 6 choose 2. So how are we going to work that out? So basically what that is, we have this formula here for the binomial expansion, n choose k, so that's n, you can write that as n choose k, that's one way of writing it. So in this case, 6 choose 0, and that equals n factorial over k factorial times n minus k factorial. That's our general formula, that's this n choose k. So for 6 choose 0, we have 6 factorial, k is our 0, so we have 0 factorial, and then n minus k, which is 6 minus 0, is 6 factorial. And 0 factorial is given as 1, so therefore we have that cancelled out. Then what we have is 1 for 6 choose 0. Then 6 choose 1, so let's go here. 6 choose 1, this equals, again, 6 factorial, that's our n on the top. Now k is 1, alright, so put 1 in there. So 1 factorial, 6 minus 1 is 5, so that becomes 5 factorial. So 6 factorial, that's 720. 5 factorial is 120, times 1 is still the same, so that equals 6. So there we go. So we've got 6 choose 0 is 1, 6 choose 1 is 6. So now let's look at 6 choose 2. So that becomes 6 factorial again, that stays on top. K factorial, k is our 2. And this time 6 minus 2 is 4, so that's 4 factorial. So that equals 720 this time, divided by 2. That's 1 times 2. 4 factorial is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. That's 24. So 24 times 2 is 48. When you divide 720 by 48, you get 15. So that works out our coefficients. So let's start the next line. So we can say, substitute our a's and b's in here. 2 minus 3x to the 6. 6 choose 0, it's 1. A to the 6, so our a is 2, so that's times 2 to the 6. B to the 0, anything to the power of 0 is always 1, so that's sort of 1. So that's our first term. And then we're going to add second term, 6 choose 1, that's this one here, so that's 6. So that's 6 times a to the power of 5, so that's 2. 2 to the 2 to the 5. And this time we've got b, which is minus 3x, and that is going to be to the power of 1. That's this one here. So times minus 3x to the power of 1. That's that taken care of. And now 6 choose 2, which you've got is 15. And we're going to multiply that by a to the power of 4. Our a is 2, so that's 2 to the 4. And then we're going to multiply that by our b, which is minus 3x, and then squared. Okay, so now we're well on the way to finding our first terms. Okay, right. Let's work with this one first. That looks pretty straightforward. 2 to the power of 6. 2 to the power of 6. 1 times, so it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 to the power of 6. That is 64. Okay. Next we've got 6 times 2 to the power of 5. So let's break this down a little bit. So we've got 6 times 2 to the power of 5 times minus 3x. So 2 to the power of 5, that's 32. 32 times minus 3 is minus 3x, sorry, 32, that's minus 96x. And that is times 6. So that takes care of that one. And then here, 15 times 2 to the power of 4. 15 times 2 to the power of 2, 4, 8, 16. So 15 times 16 is 240. That's 240, and then minus 3x squared is plus 9x. So that's 9x. Okay, right, so we can put all these down now. 64. 6 times minus 96x is minus 576x. And, oh, don't forget the squared. Plus 240 times 9x squared is plus 2160 x squared. Obviously this will just keep going on and on. So that is our first three terms. So that's that bit taken care of. That's the first part of our answer. And now we want this one here. So 1 minus x to the power of 2, 2 minus 3x to the 6. So I'm just going to take this off now, give us a bit of space to work in. Okay. So now what we want to do for the first three terms, we just do 1 minus x over 2 times this. So let's bring this down here. 1 minus x over 2 times this. So we just take that equal sign out of there as well. That'll just make things a bit more straightforward. So each one of these multiplied by these one at a time. So 64 times 1 minus x over 2. So let's just write that down as 64 times 1 minus x over 2 minus 1 minus x over 2 times 576x. So 576x 1 minus x over 2 plus 2160x squared. And again, 1 minus x over 2. Okay, do these one at a time. 64 times 1, that gives us 64. 64 times minus x over 2, so 64 cross out with the 2 is 32. That's minus 32x. Okay, now a bit more careful here, we've got a minus and a minus here, so just be wary of that. So minus 576x times 1, that's straightforward. And then minus times minus over 2, that's minus 288. But we've got x times x here, so that's x squared. So that's that taken care of. Now we're on to this one. 2160x squared times 1, no problem. Rewrite that one in. 2160x squared times minus x over 2. Well, 2160 divided by 2 is 1080. But we've got x squared times x, so it's now x cubed. So it's minus 1080 x cubed. Okay, right. Let's just work out all these together now and match them all up. So normal units, 64, that just stays as 64. Minus 32x minus 576x. So that would then give us minus 544x